Welcome to another Unfiltered Gamer board game review. Today we're doing Orcs Must Die Unchained edition. This is by Robot Entertainment. It's for 1 to 4 players for the base game, and then 2 to 8 if you get both of the games. There's 2 games that are similar but subtly different, and you can combine them for more people. And it takes about 90 minutes to play. This is based on the very popular video game Orcs Must Die, obviously. And it is a very good representation of that game. If you like the video game, you'll like these games. Let's check out how to play it. Alright, so this is how you set up Orcs Must Die. For the most part, there's a few things that happen during the game that you have to do, but this is the basics. Like, during the game, you'll take these spectacular models, and they'll start spawning. Like, that was a bearman, we have a giant, we have a lion, and then you have a whole bunch of little other miniatures. That's actually a hero. The heroes are in the green color, and these are the two that I'm going to be showing off. We have Bloodspike and Sir William. Bloodspike? Bloodspike. Yar, the orc. The way they go is they start out in the rift, where you would normally start your game. And you put 3 of these cards over here. These are the army cards, which are going to be what guys you have spawning. After you do that little bit of basic prep, you go over to the shop. The shop will have 5 traps and 5 items. These are noted by a colored gemstone as to what tier they are. You have the blue, which is tier 3, the green, which is tier 2, and the white, which is tier 1. And the tier 3 items are the better items, and you'll get them later in the game. You start out with the tier 1 stuff. You get a couple skulls, which are the currency to begin with, and you use those to buy either traps or treasures or trinkets or weapons. There's a whole bunch of different stuff you can buy and upgrade, like, let's see, this particular one is a one-time use that after you attack, you earn twice as many skulls. So you get extra money for using this card. And that costs 1, and it's a white item. There's other things that are more powerful, and then you can buy traps, like, let's see, here is what is this one? A quarter pounder! You get a hamburger! Well, it makes them into a hamburger. You would put this into a room, and when something's in that room, you add that damage to your whatever dice you roll. That might be able to kill something, that might not. It depends on what phase you're in. You got this reference card for how strong things are and what it takes to actually kill them. Like, phase 1 is here, phase 2 is here, and phase 3 is here. The white is how many dice they get to attack with, or in this guy's case, he gets to move. And then the bottom part is what it takes to kill them. Like, the soldier and the crossbowmen take a brain or a foot to kill them in phase 1, and then when you're in phase 3, it takes both, so they're a lot stronger. The objective of the game is very simple, like I said earlier. It's just to defend the rift. Depending on how many players you have, you get a different amount of points. In 4 players it's 10, in 2 players it's 6, in 3 players it's 8. And with the second expansion, or not really expansion, the other version of the game, it's more of a head-to-head, and each team will have where you're separated into 2 teams, I should say, and each team will have that much health, depending on how many players they have and what spawns. The less amount of players you have, the less stuff that you get spawning, and the more, obviously, more stuff. Things will spawn and try to get into your rift. They'll do that by moving a tile each turn. And once something gets into your rift, you lose a point. If you lose all of your points, you lose. There are monsters that are good at running, and as opposed to attacking you, instead they'll run faster. Or in the attack phase, if you're fighting like the bear man, he'll smash you in the face with a giant club. Alright, We'll show an example turn. The first thing you do is you go to the shop. Now, let me readjust this. While you're in the shop, you get a few skulls per turn. Like, at the beginning you get 3, and then in the later rounds it'll start adding more so you can buy more expensive stuff. This phase, all players do it simultaneously, and there's one person who gets this shiny token and is the Rift Lord. They have the option of adding their personal currency to a common pool that anybody can pull from, but they also get to decide how that currency is spent on when it's their turn to choose, and you pass that around at the end of each turn. So when you're in the shop, this is how many skulls it takes to buy something. This one costs 1, 2, 3. These are actually all free. You can take one. But you can only have 1 trinket, 1 amulet, and 1 ring equipped. So you might not want these particular items. Although these are like generic healing stuff. The next thing you do, after you're done with the shop and everyone purchases all the stuff that they want, is you spawn minions. Well, not quite. Minions that are on the board will actually move first, and then you'll spawn the next wave of minions. We're going with the first wave of 3 for this turn, or this phase, I should say, and we spawn minions. We're playing 2 players, so we get 1 soldier, which is this little dinky guy there, and we get 2 lions, which are these guys there. The lions will form a group on the tile, so all lions will move together, and the soldiers will form a group on the tile. They'll attack as one group as opposed to individual guys, but they still deal a massive amount of damage if you get hit by them. So now that we have guys on the map, if we had traps, we would figure out what traps happen. We don't have any traps placed, though. But if we were to have, let's say, where'd that hamburger trap go? The hamburger trap here, that's actually a room trap, so it would be in a room. Let's say we put it in this room. It gives us 1 wild. Well, we could knock that guy out instantly. So that's 1 less minion we have to deal with. The next thing we do is we go on to the hero action phase. The heroes get an amount of a set of actions. You can attack, you can move. If you're on a tile which requires something to be pushed into like the lava or acid on here or here, you can do that with the help of friends or on your own. And you also get to take your special actions, which special actions are things down here. Once per every 3 turns, you get your ultimate ability as noted by this symbol here. It's a cool little flippy thing. And back to this. Each different character has a set amount of move. Like Sir Winston's 3 and Bloodspike here is 3. Winston's 2, my mistake. After that, you go to the upkeep phase. If you've run out of armies, you scrub everything on the board as far as items and equipment go, and you replace it with the next tier, and then you start dealing out more armies. Armies are based on scenarios. Like in this scenario, the first phase, you only get guys here, but in the second phase, you'll start getting guys here and here. And in the third phase, you'll get guys in all 3 spots. Once you've done that, you pass the first player token to the next person, and then you add skulls for each guy you've killed. After that, you go on and repeat the process. I never actually said how you kill monsters. When you do an attack, you get some of these fancy dice. These are the basic white dice, and then there are a whole slew of other fancy colored dice that do all kinds of cool things. Anything from extra damage to like stunning monsters. When you attack, you use those, and those kill monsters based on what symbols you roll. If you roll enough symbols to kill off a monster, you kill a monster. Simple as that. There are weapons and stuff you can equip. Like, this is the basic weapon. It gives you 2 dice plus 1 foot symbol. And then you can go all the way to the round 3 dice, which gives you 4 dice and 1 foot symbol and 1 sword symbol. That's a pretty powerful weapon. The game is simple after that. You just try to survive. If you lose all of your rift points, you lose and you've lost the game. If you get through all 9 waves, you win. I don't remember if there is a competitive version of this, but there's no need to play competitive. Just, it's a very, very good cooperative game. Oh, I'm sorry. The competitive is when you have the second thing and you play against another team. And you try to make them lose. Alright, let's get into the review. First thing I would like to note is this game has a lot of high quality pieces and components to it. Everything from the dice to the miniatures to the cards themselves to all the character boards are very, 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 very high quality and spectacular. Another thing I would like to mention is this game does relate to the video game. It plays exactly like the video game, which is either positive or negative for some people. I mean, we had some people who played this and were expecting like a dungeon crawler because it's got a bunch of different tiles to it. It's more along the lines of tower defense game. So if you like tower defense games, this is a spectacular board game for you. If you don't, it's still a really solid board game. Another thing I would want to point out is there is a ton of missions for this game. We just showed the basic setup for that in our playthrough that we have extra footage of, as well as what we had set up here. And that's the basic mission. There's a whole little booklet over here entitled Maps, and it's 27 different pages of it, and it's all different layouts of maps and all different types of tiles. And there are special tiles that do different things. Like, you can get teleporter tiles. And one of the tiles gets free traps every turn. That's quite a useful tile. So much replayability, and that's just in the single-player game. Or the single-team game, I should say. If you get the other version and play the team game, well, you get double the replayability, and you get double the board size, so you get more and more and more and more and more replayability. This is one of those games that I don't think you can ever actually play all of it and be, well, I'm sure you could, but it would take forever. The last thing that I really want to point out is this game and the video game counterpart to it. I think this one was actually based on Orcs Must Die 2, but the Orcs Must Die Unchained, I'm not quite sure what the new video game is called, but it's Orcs Must Die space something, I'm sure we'll put it in editing somewhere, is the characters are all in the video game, and there's 8 of the video game characters, which is more than the regular game had in this, but it's a lot of characters, and they all play similar to how you would play in the video game. Like, the big tanky guy goes up there and punches orcs in the face, whereas my favorite character, the little stealth chick, will run around and stab 1 or 2 guys and make money stabbing guys in the back. But she places a lot more traps down. Overall, I would rate this game a solid 9 out of 10. It's a very fun game. It's a theme that I like, being tower defense, and I like the video game as well. So, it's not a perfect game because it is a bit on the long side, being like an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on your group. And that's the only drawback, is length of time. But for as big of a game as it is, that's to be expected. Alright, that's it for this review. We're going to have a link to the game in the description below. Please check that out. And if you like this video, please check out the other content we have here on YouTube, as well as checking out our website, unfilteredgamer.com. We have a ton of board game reviews and board game giveaways as well. And you can also check out our affiliates. They'll be posted over here. And thank you all, and see you next time.